that woman is batshit crazy. And that's when everything we had been feeling,
Verbatim.
that verbatim, a cop said that to our face, and verbatim, that's when we all knew everything that we had been feeling had been validated. When we come into the school year, tensions are pretty high because we need one more person. We're still looking for someone, even though the school year has started. And we were both DeadEyedDove and I are pretty financially like spread at this point. The school year starts, we start to like reach out, and DeadEyedDove, how did we get the last two people? Can you talk a little bit about that?
So my sister and her best friend were living off campus like by themselves in a place that was expensive, but they were doing that because her best friend had just had a baby. So they were just trying to do it together because they didn't want to disrupt people. But we were like, no, we'll take the baby.
We'll take the baby.
If those two came in, it was cheaper for us and it was cheaper for them. And we were able to give Rochelle and her best friend the baby like their own room. So then it worked out and everybody like agreed and nobody minded. So we all raised the baby.
It was very exciting. So at this point now, the master bedroom, she no longer has it on her own. She now has a roommate, which is our old roommate's cousin. One of the girls now with her baby has the middle room by themselves. I'm upstairs in a room with our other roommate, Amanda. And then in the basement, the unfinished basement, that kills me to this day, by the way.
I went in the unfinished basement with my sister.
Can you just discuss these conditions for a second?
The walls weren't finished. It was just the insulin.
I'm dead.
The plastic bag and cement flooring.
We lived like that. We made it work. You lived like that, girl. We did it. We did it.
What's funny is when the landlord let me have the cat, like Nala, he's like, oh, does she scratch? And I was like, no. And he's like, okay, because it's not finished down there. And I'm like, yep, I know. And there was a couple times, like, she doesn't normally scratch, but there was a couple times she was kind of like, oh, what's this? And, like, she definitely tore some of the plastic open. And I was like, huh. I watched her, though. I made sure she didn't eat it.
I was going to say that's kind of important, yeah.
No, and then I was like, okay, I need to get you scratch posts because you're getting too curious. And then I put catnip on them, and she was like, okay, I'm good.
You figured out a solution, but you also got to have your cat. Like, that was the big piece.
Oh, yeah, I remember her mom, too, took credit for that. Oh, yeah, no, I got you your cat here. And I'm like, quiet.
I forgot about that. So, that's now 2 months in. And with 7 people at this house, we were definitely stretched. Like, there was a lot of people in one place. Our rent went down significantly, though, by having an extra person, which was so good. And, like, the one thing about this place that I will never forget, we had a nice kitchen. A beautiful kitchen. That kitchen was stunning. The island. And then because we had so many people, we also had a lot of people contributing to furniture. So like in the basement, my aunt was getting rid of a queen bed. So we put a queen down there. We had a sofa bed donated to us. We had a nice TV. Like we had the luxuries of college living. And we were pretty close to campus and close to the people we'd lived with last year.
One enemy remaining.
Oh, nice.
Oh, look at these people. They're being so good to each other. Nanyan, our dominant e-girl. I'm kind of not mad at it, though. Basically, over the couple of months leading up to Christmas, we start to see these red flags coming back again. And after the situation over the summer with her mom, I kind of lost a lot of trust with her. And we decided and named her our helicopter parent. And then I would want to say Halloween is when we really started to notice things were getting fishy. So on Halloween, DeadEyedDove and our horror roommate and I were all supposed to go out, and she canceled on us. And she ended up going to a different party entirely, or faking it or whatever. It didn't matter to us, but we had been planning to all dress up together because it was also the baby's first Halloween together. Really we were really invested. Nice.
No, I'm just like, I was waiting for them to drop down, but I guess they
yeah.
Want
to. One enemy remaining. Last player standing.
It's okay. That was actually really good. Oh, there. Good job, Viper. Valorant's for the girls. You're better. I will avenge you. Basically, the culminating part of the story, Halloween is where things started to get fishy, especially because Halloween was when we started to notice that she was no longer partying as much with us and hanging out with us as much. She was hanging out with other people, which is fine. That's allowed. There were two things that happened that really, by Christmas, made me not want to hang out with her as much anymore. Number one, she bailed out on us on Halloween when she said she was going to hang out with us. And then both of us had a really good night out that night. Number two, I know you're laughing. You're like,
One enemy remaining.
You're better.
oh my God, that was terrifying. We're just better. Absolutely.
Skill issue.
Skill issue. New pro team, new pro team. The big thing is she started to invite men to the house. And
Well, you know what was ironic about that though is that when she started hanging with other people, she started telling them basically that me and you were loose.
yes. And we went to a very conservative school.
Yeah, those aren't the kind of things that said about you.
Yeah. Telling people we were loose was a big thing. And the fact that she was being loose.
No, 80. Nice.
Down A. Last player standing.
Oh, crouch demon, my bad. She started to like bring men back. And the issue with that is it was fine to go out and party and it was fine to do all of that. But we had a very strict rule about men in the house because we have a baby.
Yeah, baby.
We need to be respectful. It wasn't even just about men. It was about people being at the house in general, especially when the baby was at the house. Like, we were very strict. And the fact that she was inviting these people over was really a huge red flag. Huge red flag. And
Like, the fact that we had a baby there was bad enough. But even if the baby wasn't there, like, do not bring Strange Bane over.
without telling us.
Yeah, because we're all sleeping alone. He can get up and do God knows what.
Yeah.
We don't know.
We don't, no. By Christmas, we were all kind of fed up with her. We were fed up with the... Oh no! We're better.
Aw.
Nice playing with all of
Okay,
you.
guys.
Bye-bye. Oh, we won! By Christmas, we were all fed up. And by Christmas, I was starting to feel the full brunt of the financial burden. In the sense of trying to get everyone's checks, but also trying to also deal with the brunt of her mom.
You had to pound her for her checks every single month, and she was late a couple times on you.
Yeah. And the fact, like, it left my bank account, right? So I needed that money. And if I didn't have that money, I didn't have any wiggle room. You know what I mean? I couldn't just not have that, like, the funds, because then it would be overdrawn in my account, because it's not like I had a lot of savings. Yes, I was working 3 jobs at that time. 2 jobs at that time, 3 jobs the second semester. Like, I was working my butt off, but I didn't have enough funds to pay for both of our rents. You know what I mean? So
It was expensive.
exactly. So I was getting fed up. My dad was getting fed up. And thankfully, her roommate, her direct roommate that year, decided to take on the financial burden because she knew how stressed out I was getting. There was this whole issue with, like, me trying to steal checks because I was, like, hounding every month for the checks, even though her mom had given her the checks. So it was actually, like, the roommate issue, not a me issue or her mom issue, because her mom was paying for everything. So her mom was giving her the checks, but then she wasn't giving me the checks. You know what I mean? So the miscommunication between her and her mom was huge. And her mom didn't have any idea what was going on, but she really did think her daughter was the best, right? And that she could do no wrong.
Yeah.
So by
Do no wrong.
do no wrong. And so after Christmas, I'd say we were all on thin ice at this point. We were all getting along really together separately. We started to have our own parties. We started to do our own things. We didn't invite her to things. We were doing it separately from her, and she was getting closer with her volleyball friends, which is fine. But she was also going out and partying and doing the same stuff that we were doing, and yet we were taking the full brunt of the rumors and everything.
I don't volleyball people. I think it was.
She had met them through volleyball, I thought.
Okay.
Maybe?
Yeah, it wasn't the volleyball team directly because they were kind of mean to her too.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. That's why when we were at her, yeah, okay, now I'm remembering that.
But like their issue with her is like when her mom would come and be like, she needs more playing time. Why isn't my daughter playing more? Like her mom went to the coach and said, like, she's not as good. Like I don't know what to tell you.
Like we were her biggest supporters. Like I don't want to like toot our own horn or anything, but we were good friends to her. We were genuinely good friends, and it was disappointing to see this.
No, I remember staying up late and crying and trying to help her and like giving her advice, helping her with homework, like.
Oh, I whiffed. Like we were doing everything that we could. I remember that year at Christmas, I gave her my study notes. I made cue cards for ours because we were in the same psychology class, and she hadn't studied at all for the exam, and it was the day of, and she asked me to borrow my cue cards in the library, and I was like, yeah, I can give it to you for an hour, but like, because I have my own notes, but like, I'm gonna eventually need them back. She never gave it back to me. But she ended up doing really well because she studied from my notes. That made me feel good for having good notes, you know? But it was just one of those things where, like, she was doing really shady things. There's so many things we could go into detail about, but I feel like that's the main bulk of the horror from first semester. Second semester was when things amped up. I'd say closer to the end of the semester. It was getting to the end of the year. We had felt the tension, and as a unit, we decided not to live with her again. And I think that's what set everything off, right? If I'm remembering correctly.
Well, yeah, it was just like her bringing the guys over, and then she was spreading rumors about us around the school, saying that we were the ones doing it. And to be clear, we never brought them home.
Oh no, never, never, because we knew the boundaries.
I left them at the bar.
Movement B. One on top.
Just got KO'd in the middle.
The hunt begins.
The hunt begins.
Remove.
78 Astra. So basically I decided to move in for 4th year with my roommate who also lived next to us, like my old roommate who lived next to us, and we were going to be roommates. She was going to be the RA, I was going to be the RA's roommate. So, you know, like the cool aunt situation to first years, which left everyone else in the pickle of where they were going to live. And everyone decided that, I believe you all decided that you were just not going to live with her again because it was too much. It was way too much. And so what ended up happening is we all had a sit-down meeting to talk about our plans. I started the meeting by saying that I am choosing to live with none of you. I'm going to be an RA's roommate. I can't be an RA. There's too much going on in my life, but I would love this opportunity. And then you all opened up and shared how you don't want to live with her again. Oh, she's better. I think they have it.
Yeah, she's got it. She's got it.
Nice.
Nice.
My back
Oh,
hurts.
my back hurts.
What a voice line. And then you went to the meeting and all at once y'all decided in front of her, like we were in a group scenario, we all said you weren't going to live together. You were going to move to another place with other people that we knew and that we were close with. Pretty much that week was St. Patty's Day. And we hosted a huge party. It was huge. It was massive.
Yeah.
It was huge. And at this...
We invited her.
We were kind. We invited her and her friends. So it's not like we were being rude and inconsiderate.
Spike planted. One enemy remaining. Last player standing.
Oh, my bad.
Nice try.
So then we all decide not to live together, and we also throw this huge rager of a party afterwards. And we invite her, we invite all her friends, and that's when kind of everything came to a head. So we had our party, and people put like a bunch of like condoms all over her bike as like a joke. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Do you know what you... Wait, do we know who did it? I still don't know to this day who did it.
I thought it was the volleyball boys. That's what I heard.
Oh, that's so funny because eventually at that point, the rumors had come to a head and people had figured out that she'd been lying, essentially. Oh my god. Nice. Good job, team. At this point, we are gearing up towards the end of the year. Exam season has just started. We're finishing our classes, and we're still living next to the people we lived with last year. We love them to pieces, whatever. We're still moving along. You were there, mostly. I was in an exam. So I had an exam from 9 to 12 again. So I was at my exam, and after my exam, I checked my phone. And on my end, I'm going to have DeadEyedDove speak a little bit to what happened. I was at my exam. I come out of my exam a little early, and I check my phone, and literally, these are my text messages. These are my text messages. Everything's happening. We're calling the cops, we think. Her mom is here. You need to come home now. And I'm like, huh? The cops? What? So I'm panicking. I get home, and literally, the picture that I see when I get to this house, okay, picture this. It's her mom, DeadEyedDove and her sister, all in the living room, and I see confrontation. And so I go up a little bit, and I see her direct roommate, we'll call her V, and she's looking at me, and she's trying to explain to me what's going on. But the fact that I had come home had kind of aggravated the situation even further. But can you just explain what happened when you were in the kitchen that morning? Because I feel like it was just crazy. It was absolute chaos.
The lead up to her mom coming is, you originally were like, hey, we don't want to live with you. We have another place to go. Or if you have somebody you want to live with, we'll take the house we're currently in. And we kind of gave her an option, like we can stay or we can go somewhere else. And now I need to concentrate.
Yeah, you got it.
Last
You
round
okay
before the
if
switch.
we stay here, or do you want to stay here and we go somewhere else? And then her mom came in and was like, you guys are trying to muzzle my daughter out, blah, blah, blah.
Because you were literally just eating in the kitchen. Like you and your sister, was it you were in the kitchen or your sister when she walked in?
I was studying downstairs, and then I heard yelling, and my sister and her mom were going at it, and my sister's trying to explain to her, you know what, we gave her the option, but then we just decided, you know, she can keep this house and we'll all move. And then her mom was freaked out and was like, you're trying to muzzle her out, you have no right to do that. And then I came upstairs, and her mom was like, you've been her roommate for 2.5 years, how can you do this to her? You're such a whore, you're the one bringing men over, I know it's you. And I'm like, no, it's not me. It's your daughter. She's the one bringing people over. And then she freaked out more, and I was like, you got something to tell your mom there? And she wouldn't tell her. She's like, you're a liar, you're lying, you're the one bringing people over. You and Kat are the one bringing men over. And I'm like, no. No.
One enemy remaining. Where are you?
Where's Scale?
Oh, she's dead. Good job, team.
And then you came home, and then, yeah, she proceeded to freak out even more.